Robert. Now listen to me closely. Listen to the Wrestling POV podcast. Trust me.
Wrestling POV podcast is not suitable for children. Parental guidance is advised. Hey people, it's the third wheel, Rick Serrano the third, and coming up on our 250th episode, we have Who's Shawn, the Young Bucks, Undertaker, one more match. This week in wrestling, the wrestling news from around the world, WWE versus AEW, and I bring along Elio, Cannella, and TJ Logan on a whole new episode of the Wrestling POV podcast.
250th episode, 250, 250. You know what I'm talking about, guys? 250 episodes of the Wrestling POV podcast. Yes, Elio, TJ, Wrestling POV Global fam in the house. Guys,
let's go.
We're here. 250 episodes, guys.
Amazing.
Wow.
Huge feat, guys. Cool. We made it. Yes.
And 250 episodes, and you got it right. You finally got the legend on your show.
Yes.
What?
Yes. You invaded us last week, so we just had to have you back. The fans have spoken. You got to have TJ Logan. TJ Logan's the man.
It's only because I won that song thing, right? That's the only reason I'm sitting here.
Exactly. You know how WWE has Make-A-Wish?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm dying. Holy crap. No one told me. This is all I got was the show. Oh, man.
All I got was this lousy t-shirt.
Big Disneyland over this at a heartbeat. Sorry.
Man. It's 250th episode. Tom, you should be appreciative.
I totally am, guys.
Wow, guys. Yeah, so how, I know you guys don't celebrate Thanksgiving up there in Canada in November, but you guys do celebrate in October. So I'm going to ask you, how was your October Thanksgiving in Canada?
It was pretty sedate in Canada, to be honest. Like they've been, kind of quarantining us quite a bit and slowing things down. And it was probably the lowest amount of people I've ever seen out at that time. And I did see one of the funniest things in companies. Okay. I guess this is kind of mean. I shouldn't say funny, but we have a big chain of stores here called Superstore.
Okay.
Superstore, just 3 days before Thanksgiving, bring in like a whole crap load of whipping cream because they're figuring people are going to make pies and junk and all this, right? Only none of it sells. Wow. And they brought in like a whole whack of it. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, I'm going to get in there and get some cheap whipping cream, right? I go there and all they did was move it all back onto the shelf. And it was 1 day from expiry, but they had it at $6 a liter.
Oh,
wow.
And I'm just like, no.
you have to use it in 24 hours.
Yeah,
use it all in 24 hours. Well,
that ain't happening.
On this side of the border, the American Thanksgiving, I think it was pretty good. Spent some time with some family members. We kept it at 8. We're mandated to keep it under 10. Believe me, I was on the watch, guys. If we had over 10 people, I was going to snitch on myself. I was not playing these games, these COVID games. I don't play them. Make sure you guys mask up, wash your hands. We're seeing a kind of a rise here in the States.
So. Terrible. We had a Thanksgiving of 4 people.
Wait,
wow.
How about this though? Are you guys? What is your quarantine now? Because right now, where I live, they just announced 2 days ago, we're not even allowed to have company over. You're allowed to have 0 visitors in your home.
Wow. Well, yeah. Stateside, we're a little bit more lenient, which we probably shouldn't be. But I think right now we're just they just want you to keep it under 10 people. So no gatherings of that. But you know what, guys? You're all here with us right now. You have a large gathering in your ears. Hey, yo, you heard what he said? Not that there's anything wrong with that. But like I said, 250th episode of the Wrestling POV podcast. And let's kick it off with Who's Shawn of the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson or Nick Jackson? Now, you guys talked about this a little bit on Wrestling POV Global this week. And why don't you guys reiterate? TJ, who are you going for and why?
You know what? This one I found very similar in a way, and I'm not saying their careers are like, but if you just look at the guys, they're kind of like the Hardy Boys.
Okay.
I mean, you have the better looking, quiet one who does all the moves and is spectacular, but zero personality like Jeff Hardy, and that would be Nick. And then you have Matt, the one who has a lot less, Matt and Matt. You got the two Matts who have less in-ring ability, but they speak a lot more.
Okay.
The only difference here is Matt speaks so over the top, it's like a cartoon, and Nick speaks so under that it's sad. So this was a really tough one, but in this way, I'm going to have to say that Nick is probably going to be would be the Shawn, because he is at least much more spectacular in his execution, and his brother is just kind of over the top ridiculous.
All right, and now Elio, you disagreed with that on your show.
Yeah,
where do you stand now?
Yeah, I'm staying with that Matt Jackson just because he's got like more personality than Nick.
Yeah,
and like he stands out more between the two.
Yeah, for sure. You know, looking at these two over their careers, all the way back to Generation Me, Matt always stood out for me more because of the mutton chops that he had and the facial hair that Nick cannot grow. But like TJ said, Nick Jackson is always the one that is taking the higher risk and doing the crazier stuff. Matt Jackson, yeah, he does remind me a lot of Matt Hardy, and not in a good way. Matt Hardy for me was never really one of my favorite people, but the difference between Matt Hardy and Matt Jackson, I would have to say, is that throughout their careers, I think Matt Jackson is better on the mic than Matt Hardy. I think Matt Hardy now is probably better, but throughout his career, I think Matt Jackson was always just a better talker. For me, I disagree with TJ. I think Matt is the better looking of the two. You know, he got the facial hair, he got the olive skin, he got the brunette hair. I'm not really into blondes, not my kind of thing. but
if you're into 12-year-olds, yeah, Matt Jackson is definitely he looks so like a kid.
Yeah, but he got the facial hair, so it throws it off. But I do have to say this. This one was definitely tough. This was pretty tough. I would have to go with, they're both really good in-ring competitors. Nick, I give the slight edge to. Matt has the mic ability. Who will be the Shawn Michaels of that group? You know, a lot of people might even say that at once upon a time, Marty Jannetty was the better of the Rockers when it came to in-ring ability, but Shawn Michaels, on the other hand, was the better on the mic. So you know what? With that being said, I convinced myself. I'm going with Matt Jackson as the Shawn of this group because he can keep up with his brother on the in-ring ability. He's not quite at his brother's level, but when it comes to speaking on the mic, I got to give it to him the slight edge. For me, if I had to slice it down, I would go 46% between the two. It's not that big of a difference, but the fans did vote, and there is a whopping difference here. 63% to 37% over Nick Jackson over Matt Jackson.
Wow.
So the fans agree with TJ on the in-ring ability, I guess. That's what it has to be that.
I was thinking of what you were saying, you and Elio, and interesting, but stupid. I mean, when you think about it, we compare them to the Hardy Boys. You guys may say all you want, but in the end, boring old weird-ass quiet Jeff Hardy is who you'd pick to pay money to see over Matt Hardy any day. And that's kind of what's going to turn out at the end of this one.
That's true. And you know what? That was the worst, interesting, but stupid in 250 eposodes of the Wrestling POV podcast. So congratulations, TJ.
Hey, I had to bring up stupid for you guys. 250.
That's preposterous.
Don't even say churlish. Don't even say it.
Elio, where does it belong?
In the churlish.
Thank you.
My God. I've turned into Elio. Huh,
it was
weird.
Terrible. We're bringing back all the old slang, guys. All right. Next up, we got now this one. You know, after we did WPOV Aftermath on Survivor Series with that Undertaker farewell, man, oh man, I told you guys I teared up during that, and it's been a tough week. It's been really tough. I've been watching a lot of Undertaker things. Undertaker was on our show Hot Ones, where he eats hot wings and answers tough questions. I I loved it. I thought it was great. I watched the Broken Skull sessions with him and Stone Cold round 2.
Did they do 2 episodes?
Yeah. This was the second episode they
Okay,
aired.
I'm gonna have to go back and check that out.
Yeah, for sure. They even talk about the Montreal Screwjob and how Undertaker handled it. You know, everybody was always saying that Undertaker spoke with Vince before Brett punched him in the face. So you get to hear what Undertaker said to Vince and Undertaker's side of the whole thing, on whose side he was on and stuff like that. So
because I only saw the first one.
Yeah. So it's really
Rick,
cool.
I gotta tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. Okay. This is how much I care about your 250th episode. Okay. I really do. I care this much. Is like, I figured, okay, we'll squeeze in a bit of extra wrestling. I mean, you got your extra 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, 2 hours of NXT. So that's an extra 7 hours, right? And I'm figuring, okay, that's on top of, we had 2 hours of AEW, 1 hour of MLW, 1 hour of NXT UK. So I'm thinking it's not so bad, right? But then New Japan had 5 episodes this week. Each of them at 2-3 hours for the World Tag League and the Junior Leagues. There was so much wrestling today.
It's a lot of wrestling.
I woke up and I had my cat in a full Nelson, and she was just like, "Ah," and I was just like, whoa, wake up.
That's 15 hours.
It was ridiculous amount. I am so wrestled out right now. But I'm ready to do this because I have a chart here with little breakdowns that say 2.1 for this match.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get to it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And thank you, TJ, for cutting me off. Never do that again.
I love it. I'll do it every time I can.
With that being said, like I said, Undertaker, man, it was just astounding to hear him talk. And I did say this also on Aftermath. I wish they would have saved all the documentaries until after this, because it would have gave us that much more to want to watch these things. I mean, everybody watched it regardless, but you would have wanted to watch it more, because now you're just like, wait, that's the end. I need to hear more from this guy. I didn't realize how much I'm going to miss him, you know. And that's why I threw this out there. One more match. Do we want to see The Undertaker in one more match? A lot of people are throwing out The Fiend as a possibility. Could The Undertaker come back? Will we want to see The Undertaker come back? TJ, I'm going to go to you first, and then we'll go to Elio, and then I'm going to answer. Go ahead, TJ.
Do I want to see The Undertaker come back? No, I think I want to preserve his the things he's done. Like, let's face it, it's been a bit of a diminishing return over the last couple of years, and that's not his fault. The man has been around a very long time. Anyone physically cannot keep at a giant level all the time. It became remember there was a time where he started going once a year, and we're like, yeah, and then it was like, ooh, maybe he should have went longer.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want it diminished. I want the Undertaker to be that spectacular. As a matter of fact, I kind of wished he retired a bit, maybe right after he lost to Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
And that would have been great. You bookend his career there, have him show up as a commentary, maybe do appearances, but wrestling, it's not that feasible at his age and his body condition. And all I think it does is diminish it. You don't want him to become the old days of wrestlers. Remember, you see the old fat guy in tights laying around going, that guy's your main event. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. All right. And then that's very solid. Elio.
I'm going to say no to one more match because, throughout his career, we've seen the long, slow entrance that we're used to seeing. But the past few years, they've gotten they've gotten longer because he's come out slow because due to the injuries catching up with him. So, and his matches haven't been as good as they've been in the past. So I'm going to say no.
Wow. Now, let me just throw this out you guys, and anybody can answer this. If I tell you it's going to be The Fiend versus The Undertaker, guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
No, still?
We've been down this road before.
They already had it at 31, didn't they?
They did, but it wasn't The Fiend. It's not Bray Wyatt.
It's the same guy.
It was still Bray Wyatt. It's Bray Wyatt under a mask. It's Bray Wyatt 2.0.
It's demonic Bray Wyatt. No? Still no? I can't get you. No?
Not on board with this one. I'm sorry.
I'm going to give you my POV on this.
Okay.
Man, I fought with myself with this. I'm like, Rick, just, you know how bad it can be. You saw Saudi Arabia. You know how bad. But you saw how he had the match with AJ Styles. Let me throw this at you. If it was a cinematography match with Bray Wyatt, the demonic Bray Wyatt, yes or no? One more match, cinematography.
I hate cinematography matches. I'm still out.
No, Elio?
I hate cinematography.
WWE does it a lot different than AEW has.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm torn between this one. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to see like Undertaker. I want to see him preserve his legacy, but like cinematography at the last match he had with AJ Styles wasn't that bad.
Yeah. So I'll give you one more chance, Elio, to change your answer. Undertaker versus The Fiend cinematography match. You got it or no?
I'm gonna have to say no.
Oh, all right. You know what? I tried my best. For me, I agree with you guys, though. I absolutely agree.
Unless, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing Undertaker to Scooby Doo. I mean, Scooby Doo and Undertaker. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I can see that, but I definitely have to say, damn. Like, I if it was a couple of years earlier, then I would say hell yeah. But damn, man, like. And this is what happens, this is what happens when our heroes and our wrestling legends, they get older and we're just like, what if they had this matchup, what if we had Stone Cold versus this guy? What if we had The Rock versus this guy? What if we had Bret Hart versus this guy? What happens is our guys, these legends, our heroes, they get older. Father Time is undefeated. And we lose out on these fantasy bookings. We're never going to have it. Now, like I said, we've seen Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt before, but we've never seen him fight The Fiend. We've never seen Undertaker versus Sting, and we're never going to get that. You understand what the word never means? It means it's not going to happen, and it's just so frustrating to be on this side of the world and just like, come on, man. We have it here, but we just can't put it together. So it's one of those things where we have video games and we could put it together, but we don't have the physical thing. We don't have the actual guys to put into this ring and put this match together. So unfortunately, yeah, I'm gonna have to say no. I don't want to see one more match with The Undertaker. It pains me. The legacy of his will live on forever. I'm sure he is the greatest character wrestling has ever had, and his legacy will live on forever. But for me, I have to say no. And I know a lot of our listeners agree with us. But damn, man, it's just like we knew it was coming. We didn't. For me, it was just like I didn't want it to happen, though. Like,
just think of it this way: what if the Undertaker had just retired a couple years back when he was still the phenom, before the break? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you imagine the anticipation you'd always want after that? It would be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Erase all those the Saudi Arabia stuff, all that back
Roman
stuff.
Reigns match. Yeah, it's terrible.
If he'd retired then, you would live on with him being a superhero. The fact is, we're always going to remember the balding, wrinkly Undertaker at the end.
Yeah.
Especially the backstage photos I've seen on Facebook.
Yeah.
You can tell it's like caught up with him.
Yeah, and he could barely stand after things. Hospitalized after one of the WrestleManias.
Yeah.
It's sad, but you know what? My hat's off to him. He gave us everything he had.
Yes.
Despite being there maybe 5 years too long, he gave us absolutely everything he had. And you can't fault him on that. Now, last week, Elio and I were going over our Ministry of the Darkness song that Undertaker had, which we thought was awesome. We also think that the best Undertaker was the Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. Before we continue, TJ, who was your favorite version of the Undertaker?
Wow, that's a tough one. Like, I kind of like the biker one a bit when it first started. Oh man, but the transition from the biker to the MMA style thing, I kind of like that. Yeah, that was my favorite iteration, I think.
All right, yeah, that is cool. That went from like the American Badass to the Dead Man Rising again, but this time he's putting some MMA gloves on and he's putting different styles. He put the triangle choke as one of his finishes called Hell's Gate. But yes, so we translated the Latin that Undertaker was saying. So Undertaker says, "Anel Natra Doce Diemba," right? That means accept the Lord of Darkness as your savior. And then he says, Ano Nactra, Tierra Nactra, which means allow the purity of evil to guide you. So, and so fully, it's the accept the Lord of Darkness as your savior. Allow the purity of evil to guide you. Man,
it's some scary English.
Wow.
Man, this is
insane.
now. This is a reason why Undertaker didn't like this character. TJ, we said last week that this was not his favorite version of Undertaker. Was the Ministry of Darkness because of his religious beliefs.
Yeah.
But man, I can see why.
I was kind of hoping the story was going to hit. I'd read the story this week about this heavy metal band who they sing in English all the time, but they put out one song in German and it was something Satan, and then it was all in German, right? But if you translated it, they were reciting back a recipe for chocolate chip cookies in German.
Wow.
And I thought, wouldn't that have been good if you'd said that? You'd be like, "I'm the Undertaker, and I like porridge," or something like, you know.
Yeah.
It can't
but
be
no,
Ramstein,
it's Satan
right?
and all that crap. What's that?
It can't be Ramstein.
No. It wasn't a German band. It was an American band singing one song.
One song. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll look it up for next show. Sorry about that.
For sure. But yeah, so, and Elio, you were right. It turns out it was from a spell called Charm of Making from Merlin in the film Excalibur. So
they ripped off. I love it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Awesome film, by the way. If you guys don't mind older looking films, great film.
Absolutely, yes, from 1981. We threw that out there. So, any final words on The Undertaker? I have to say this. Oh, man. I'm going to miss you, man. You know, honestly, I think one of my other favorite moments that I didn't get to mention last week, Undertaker versus CM Punk. CM Punk was my absolute favorite at the time. Him versus Undertaker. Paul Bearer had just passed away. They had gotten permission to use the urn. They have gotten permission to have Paul Heyman even dress up as Paul Bearer at the time. That was probably the most heat CM Punk can get. One of my favorite WrestleMania matches that Undertaker was in was with CM Punk. And just to throw a little CM Punk thing in there, because why not? CM Punk was pissed because he was promised the main event. And Triple H was like, well, you got the main event. You're fighting Undertaker. He's like, are we going on last? No. Well, then that's not the main event. And that's true. It's not the main event of WrestleMania when you're not fighting last. So, Undertaker CM Punk was one of my favorite moments as well. But Undertaker, thank you for your 30 years. I love what you're doing. I don't agree with your politics, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
His MMA version was in 2002, right?
Yes, that's what he.
I remember the one match, WrestleMania 18, Ric Flair and the Undertaker.
Yes, that was badass.
That was good. I was there. The building went crazy for that match.
Wow, you were there. Nice.
I was there on WrestleMania 18.
Awesome. All right, TJ, any last words for the Undertaker?
You know what? I don't think we keep saying that there's never going to be another character like that, right?
Yeah.
But let's face that, we probably said that 20 years ago when so-and-so retired or so-and-so. So, yes, he's always going to be remembered. But fans, there is going to be someone else we're going to find. I don't know. Everyone goes The Fiend, but it might not even be anyone like The Undertaker. It might be someone else who rises up and becomes that icon. But you know what? It's a special thing. He was a one-in-a-generation wrestler, and it was sad. No matter if it was too long or not, we lost a really good wrestler. We lost a really great attraction. And I'm sad for it.
All right. Well, right now it is time for the wrestling news from around the world. But before we do that, let's get into some birthdays.
Yahoo!
Yeah, my man. It's Yahoo! For 250 episodes, it's been Yahoo!
Yeah, it's been Yahoo!
There you go, Elio. All right. Beth Phoenix turns 40 years old. The Glamazon, 40 years old. Now, have you noticed that Beth Phoenix is not at the commentary table?
I was going to ask about that. Do they ever mention that? Is she, like, because I've been watching NXT really closely. I'm like, hey, wait a second. She's never there.
That's her voice, though, right?
Yeah, it is her voice.
Maybe she's doing it.
I'm pretty sure she's doing it remote, but when did that start?
Yeah. That started when quarantine started. She's been at a distance for a while. I think she is in the building, but I think she's just keeping her distance.
Good on her.
Eric Rowan turns 39. Is there a chance that we see Eric Rowan come back. WWE. There was the rumor that Tony told us that he's coming to AEW. He's gonna be with Luke Harper and Brody Lee.
I know we haven't seen him yet.
We haven't seen anything.
Maybe
we haven't
he
even
is
seen
with him.
Brody Lee.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he is with them. Just because nobody knows where Brody Lee is. So.
Exactly. Well, happy birthday, Eric Rowan.
Maybe he's out recruiting.
Maybe. Summer Rae turns 37 years old. Any chance we see her back?
No.
Divas
have shorter span life than anyone else.
I'll tell you this about Summer Rae. There is rumor about her coming back to wrestling. We just don't know where, but that she's been training to come back. Listen, Impact wouldn't be a bad spot. Impact has a great women's division.
Actually, they got a good women's division.
Yeah,
we'll make it MLW. They don't have women's division.
I saw Impact this week. Ugh.
Oh man, well we won't even get into that.
Yeah.
No.
And last but not least, one of our huge super fans, all the way from London, England, Matt Novak turns 34 years old. So happy birthday, Matt! Matt Novak, the 38 lads. He's one of the greatest of all time. He's actually our Wrestling POV overseas correspondent. So thank you for doing what you do, and stop having kids, man. You know, it's just like, I know we're in quarantine, but enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
You don't get it, Rick. You don't get it. Having a kid is great. Good on you, Matt, because man, they may be annoying as hell, but they sure bring some joy to your life.
That's true. All 10 of them. All right. With that being said, it is now time for the wrestling news from around the world. Here we go. The first thing, Icon Series is a new WWE documentary. Why am I saying that word?
I don't
so
know.
wrong. That was like a Tony Diaz moment. Documentary.
Let's call it a doc.
Yes, a doc. WWE Icon Series, WWE documentary. They're gonna have different documentaries for Beth Phoenix, Lex Luger, Rob Van Dam, the British Bulldog, and Yokozuna. Now, who out of those names do you think stands out to you the most? Elio? Who stands out to you the most?
The last two is fine, but Lex Luger.
Come on, Lex Luger. Who cares?
Well, see, this is where I disagree with that. I think Lex Luger has something. He did have something about him that WWE.
He did not.
No, WWE went all in on this guy for a reason, because they liked his look, and there's a story there.
Was that the narcissist, or was that when he did the whole Lex Express?
It was the narcissist. Narcissist started it.
Yeah,
that's what started with Bobby Heenan with the milk and the.
But they went all in with the Express.
That was fine. I was fine with that one. But then when he started doing the whole Lex Express thing,
that was all in, and that was Yokozuna, the slam and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, listen. If there's something that WWE does good, it's documentaries. They do a great job on that, and I think a rise and fall, a great fall for Lex Luger would be great. Beth Phoenix, not too keen on. I don't see why.
No, I'm interested in Beth Phoenix. I'm actually interested. She's a pioneer for women's wrestling.
She is, but
maybe her story. I don't know what her story.
Yeah,
you got to do that. Oh, yeah. I want you to be honest, Rick. Are you all up on this Lex Luger thing because he tricked you on the bus once? You can. I'm here, buddy. I'm here. I'm here to be there for you.
No. I was actually a big fan of Lex Luger, especially with the whole 95 Royal Rumble with Bret Hart, and they both go over the top. And
that was 94.
94. Yeah. So Elio always corrected me. Elio, don't correct me on air, Elio. But yeah, I'm not interested in Rob Van Dam. British Bulldog, I'm interested in. Yokozuna, I am 1,000% interested in, and I want to hear what people have to say. And I want people to watch what these guys have to say about him, because Yokozuna, everybody loved him. Yeah. Everybody, including the Undertaker. And I hope he's part of that, because he needs to be part of that. So I'm looking forward to the series. Like I said, WWE and their docs, they do great jobs at them. I think this will be good. It's going to be coming out in 2021. Next up, a couple of guys that were furloughed as WWE producers are now back. Shane Helms, from WWE producer to AEW, back to WWE. He made it back. How? That is bizarre.
Stand back. There's a producer coming through.
That is crazy. I listen, man. WWE has vendettas, and the fact that they just took him back just like that, I don't know. Maybe Vince is losing it. Also, Fit Finley is back as a WWE producer.
Okay.
So things might be getting better for them. I mean, I always respected Fit. Shane Helms, I'm not too sure on.
Fit Finley, like he mostly does lots of stuff backstage at the women's.
Yeah.
Team, and they could sure use it right now too.
Absolutely. And last but not least, some kind of sad news, but also some kind of good news at the end of it all. Gilbert, at the age of 59, has suffered a heart attack. He's out of ICU. He's fine now, but still, a heart attack at that age, at any age, is bad. But at 59, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to see that. But we're being told that he is now out of the ICU and he's doing well, and that he will be back to his goofy self again. Those of you that don't know Gilbert was the guy who came from WWE that was mocking Bill Goldberg, and he was the longest reigning light heavyweight champion they've ever had.
Oh, jeez.
Tells you the prestige of that belt.
Well, Christian had it. It did well for Christian. It did well for Taka Michinoku. But yeah.
Just kidding, Taka.
Don't disrespect Taka. I love Taka.
Choppy pee.
Yes. But yes, Gilbert, we all here at the Wrestling POV family wish you a healthy recovery, speedy recovery, and hope for the best for you. All right, let's get into some rumors. Rumor has it that the WWE has absolutely no plans for Lars Sullivan. After bringing him back, they bring him back. He destroys a couple of guys. They have the draft. He goes to SmackDown. He does these cringy promos where he's like, I'm not a freak. I'm not a freak. All they did was call me freak. And it was all this was.
We did that episode of Quarantine on Heat. This guy, whenever he's on my screen, I just switch channels.
Yeah, no longer it's X-Pac Heat, it's Lars Sullivan Heat.
Oh, Lars Sullivan Heat, man. You don't know where you're going with this guy. But, yeah, WWE doesn't know what they're doing with him either. So, sad news for him.
Well, do you remember why they brought him back?
I have no clue.
You remember, like, he had all that controversy because of, like, what was it, like, Nazi
the gay
stuff
porn.
And gay porn and all this junk, right? So they drop him. The only reason that they gave him another shot is he started releasing some videos, like weightlifting workout videos. In the middle of a press conference, some idiot out of nowhere goes, "Hey, Triple H, so have you seen Lars Sullivan's things?" And they brought him up on this national forum, and he was like, "Well, no, I didn't even know he was doing stuff." So WWE jumps on it because the name is out there now all of a sudden. Give him a chance, but obviously they're like, nah, this wasn't worth the chance.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know that. But yeah, I don't think, I'm with you. I don't think WWE is behind this guy. They're absolutely done with him. My last rumor we have is apparently Braun Strowman, who's suspended, and spoiler alert for Monday Night Raw, who's suspended, will be fighting Drew McIntyre at TLC for the title. Now, I don't know how they're going to spin this when you have a triple threat match for the number one contenders. How Braun is going to sneak his way in there, but this is WWE we're talking about. It's not rocket science. They will find a way.
Yeah.
But that is the rumor out there. I am not for this. I do not want to see Braun go anywhere near a title again.
I already have figured out what they're going to do.
Do it, Elio.
They're having a triple threat match. Something's going to happen. Braun's going to say, I want my opportunity at the championship. The Adam Pearce is going to come out. It's going to be a fatal four-way.
Wow.
Ugh.
After he headbutt him and everything, maybe out of fear. Okay, I can see that. Out of fear.
Wait, he's the one to get taken out by Strowman again, right?
There you go. See, Elio just spoiled it. Elio was my source, ladies and gentlemen. And on to injuries. There are no injuries to report unless you want to talk about Adam Pearce's head contusion that he received from Braun Strowman. No? Okay. No. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go to prowrestlingtees.com/wrestlingpov. Get a shirt today, $19.99. They have Black Friday sales. It's 20% off, so you can get that today, right now. Buy all 4 shirts, get 20% off, and for $19.99 each, and you help us and create more shows, more episodes, more everything, more content for you guys.
That's four of them, right? 4 shirts.
4 shirts. We got the
Elio
Wrestling
tried to
POV.
tell us it was 5 on the last show.
No,
he argued it.
I meant
And
it
he
was,
argued
it.
it.
I meant it was 4. I was going to say it was 4, 3 for WPOV, 1 for Global.
Yeah, you said 4 for WPOV. It's on our last show, Elio.
Yeah,
we
I
didn't
know.
edit it out.
All right, guys. You know what it was? It was that Elio was doing Elio math.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
And the thing is, these shirts are remarkable. Fans, get them. I love them.
Exactly.
They look great.
Yes, we have the Legend and the Gentleman Wrestling POV Global T-shirt. We have Miguel Cole's T-shirt. We have Wrestling POV Global, and we have our sayings. 250 episodes worth of sayings. It's preposterous. It's churlish, and it belongs in the toilet. It's interesting, but stupid. It's ridiculous. All that and more on one T-shirt for $19.99. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestlingPOV. Also, guys, don't forget WOHW.com. Purchase a shirt from the biggest hater we know, Kenny Casanova. Not a shirt, a book from Kenny Casanova. He has a ton of books out. One for Tito Santana, one for Sabu, one for Dangerous Danny Davis, one for Vader, one for Kamala. All that and more if you go to WOHW.com today. Also, ladies and gentlemen, go to ColinElbowBrand.com. Put in promo code WPOV and save yourself 10% on all shirts from ColinElbowBrand.com. Now, TJ, you want to tell them about all the different shows we have on our network here?
You bet. We've got a wide range of shows right now, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening now to WPOV Wrestling every Saturday. Tony Diaz, Rick Serrano III, and Miguel Cole, who's suspiciously on vacation too. They give you the best of the rundown of the WWE and all the stuff going on, including an interesting AEW versus WWE NXT. So that's great. Every Friday, we have WPOV Global, which features me, the gentleman Elio Cannella, and the Lone Wolf Andy Anderson, where we go over all the stuff in AEW, very, very deep dive into that, plus a bunch of look at other minor wrestling shows around the thing. Then we have on Tuesdays, WPOV Quarantine, which is a Zoom show hosted by me, Elio, and Andy, where we bring on various wrestlers. You get to see them. You get to hear all kinds of different talk about different kinds of things. We also have WPOV Aftermath, our newest show, which occurs after every big event. We try and get together, some iteration of all of us on WPOV, whatever combination, get together right afterwards, talk about what we see, break down the thing, tell you if it's worth watching or not. And I got to tell you, we got some other things down the line coming that are going to be really interesting. So fans, look forward to all of those things.
Excellent. And you know what? TJ is being modest. He's forgetting that we had Bushwhacker Luke, WWE Hall of Famer, on a current episode of WPOV Quarantine. Also, we had Savio Vega. And you know what, guys? We have a huge name coming up for this next episode. So cross your fingers, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and you will be looking out for that next episode because, guys, I'm just saying this. He's full of heart. I'm just going to leave it there. So leave it there. Just say that. That's it. That's your hint. He's full of heart. All right, guys. With that being said, let's get into This Week in Wrestling. Let's get raw. All right. Yes.
Can we just pause for 1 sec?
No.
No, my son's begging for a sandwich. Just let me make him a quick sandwich. We can do the rest.
Go ahead. Make him a quick sandwich.
Okay.
All right, so this week on Raw, my lowest point for Raw had to be the opening. Adam Pearce talking with Team Raw. That was just so cringeworthy. I just couldn't stand it. Going back and forth. Give me a reason why you should be the number one contender. No, you give me. Come on, man. Don't waste my time. I gave that a 1. That was my lowest part of a not so bad episode of Raw. What was your low point, Elio?
That was my low point. I gave a 0.5. I can't believe Matt Riddle's still on with these nicknames.
Yes, that was annoying. TJ, what was your lowest point of Raw?
Oh man, I'm gonna say the lowest. I hated that Riddle promo, the one on his own with with the hurt business.
Oh, with MVP.
Yeah,
First
did
of all,
not like
I'm
that.
not. First of all, I'm not your bro. Oh,
Yeah,
Yes, that was funny. That was funny. Aw.
but definitely though for in-ring low points, 1.5 for Bliss versus Cross. Not liking that match
yeah.
at all.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Pretty poor.
Yeah, even with the finish, she didn't get the Sister Abigail done right, so I can see that as a low point. For me, my highest point had to be the ending. AJ Styles defeating Randy Orton. I gave that a 3.5. I love the Fiend's work in that match. I thought it was a really good match. It was a WrestleMania worthy match. Anytime AJ Styles goes into a match with anybody, it's going to be a great match. And I thought this was a good one. I love the storytelling it did with the Fiend. Orton finally seeming to be scared of something. Orton has shown, or at least has been acting like he's not afraid of the Fiend. But for the first time, we actually see some kind of fear in his eyes. So that's why I went with that as my highest point. Elio, what was your high point?
Oh yeah, I had that one as my high point. The ending, Orton and AJ Styles. I just like the way the Fiend just like popped up behind Orton.
Yep.
So Orton just like turns around. He's like he has a scared look on his face.
Yeah, I mean it works because we've never seen this side of Randy Orton. TJ, what was your highest point?
Well, it sure wasn't Orton versus AJ. All that crap at the end just diluted it for me. I'm sorry. My highest point, Riddle versus Sheamus. I gave that a 4. Thought it, and I'm not a Riddle fan whatsoever, but this was a very solid match.
That's actually weirdly, another one of my high points. Riddle and Sheamus.
I know I don't watch Raw enough, and maybe this is going to sound weird, but I gave a 3 to the Firefly Funhouse. I thought it was pretty funny this week.
Oh yeah, it was hilarious. I gave it a 2.5. Not one of its best, but it was definitely an average. That's what you typically get on average when you have a Firefly Funhouse. So it was pretty good. I enjoyed it as well. Some honorable mentions. I'm looking at it. There wasn't really anything that really stuck out. Lana and Asuka backstage was terrible. Lana backstage period was terrible. Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee. I cannot believe they had Keith Lee go over on Bobby Lashley. I get it. Keith Lee is this anomaly. He's supposed to be this out of this world kind of guy. But Keith Lee beating your United States champion, I can't get behind that.
He still doesn't get a pin. I mean, he still has yet to pin anybody or submit anybody. It's always DQ finishes for him.
Yeah, that's true. Anybody have any other honorable mentions from Monday Night Raw this week?
No, everything I have was like 2 or 2.5s.
Yeah. So for me, overall, I gave Monday Night Raw this week a 2.2. So close to average, but a little bit better than what it's usually been. Elio, what about you?
Yeah, I went to 1.6.
Wow, 1.6. Elio, I'm looking at your name, Elio's boy toy. TJ, what is your overall ranking?
I gave it a 2.1.
Okay, all right, so we're almost there at the same thing.
Yeah.
It is now time for the NXT POV. Mamma mia! All right, we're gonna go with Elio first. Elio, what was your lowest point of NXT this week?
The opening match, Candice LeRae, Ember Moon.
Ooh, yeah. I don't get it. There's something off about Ember Moon, I feel, right?
Really?
I don't know. This version of Ember Moon.
Guys, I could not stand Ember Moon until this match. For once, I appreciated her skill and her drive. I can never stand her. This match actually made me appreciate her. So I'm like, wow, okay.
And that's the beauty of 250 episodes of the show is that we can disagree. Most of the times when you disagree with us, you're wrong. But I can
the legend. And then you're right.
But I saw. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Like
I hate her hairdo and I hate her look, but man, she's really got something finally there.
And you know what? I think. I don't know. I don't see it. Like maybe it's more for my hate for and disdain for Candice LeRae that I gave this match a 1. It wasn't my lowest point, but I didn't see it.
I gave it a 3.
Okay. What was your lowest point of NXT, TJ?
Oh, definitely the interview segment with Pat McAfee's gang.
Oh,
Frick,
okay.
they're terrible. Don't give any of those three idiots the
No,
mic ever.
never,
Holy
no.
smokes.
Pete Dunne is a wrestler, and that's
Yeah, yeah. Lots of and it just seems when I'm looking at the lower scores here, they're all either to do with promos or backstage stuff.
yeah.
They were all pretty poor.
I agree with that, but my lowest point, Kevin Owens show with Leon Ruff, 0.5. Leon Ruff should not be talking. I get it. This is your big moment. You want to give him the mic, but you know what? This wasn't it. You gave him too long of a segment here. Then to have Johnny Gargano come out and talk, and then Kevin Owens going 3, 2, 1, and always being wrong.
No. See. This is what happens. Every time you mention someone's name, their music plays and they come out.
I loved it.
Oh,
Come on, Regal at the end going, playa. Come on,
yes,
that was good
funny.
stuff.
That was funny.
Or the chair, bringing out the chair, Gargano. I don't need a chair. Oh, this one's not for you. Yeah. And then the subtle part when everyone didn't want the chair, he's putting, why do I keep bringing these chairs in? Like, come on, it was funny.
Yo, but the thing that pisses me off about the chairs is that I can use a fucking chair in my house, and you're throwing these. Those are not cheap chairs.
No.
You're throwing them over the ropes breaking the wheels off of them. And it's just like, guys, man, that's at least a $300, $500 chair. Like, that's not a cheap chair.
Yeah.
So I'm a little upset about that. I mean,
I don't blame you.
Yeah. Elio, what was your high point of NXT this week?
I like the Timothy Thatcher Kushida match.
Yes. What was it? What was the rating you gave on that one?
I gave that one a 3.
Nice. What was it about it that stood out to you that made
everything? I'm just a Timothy Thatcher fan. I just like Timothy Thatcher.
So you know what I think it is, Elio? I think you're a Rick Serrano the third fan, and therefore whatever I like, you like. I get it. TJ, what was your high point?
The Undisputed Era promo in the beginning was very good. I gave that a 4. For the highest match, though, I would have to say I gave a 3.5 to O'Reilly versus Dunn.
Yes, that was also another good match. But for me, my highest point was Kushida defeating Timothy Thatcher. Like I always say, I am a Timothy Thatcher fanboy, and I am also a huge Kushida fanboy. Yep. And you put them both together, and the strong style and it worked. Everything, the storytelling of this match worked, and it was. The thing is about this match is that's it. You know, like Thatcher's moving on to Ciampa next. So it's like this is a one-off match, but they were telling a story. They were breaking down holds and different submission attempts, and it was just a beautifully written match. So that was my highest. I gave it a 3. Elio, what was your overall of NXT this week?
Okay, so my overall this week was 2.6.
Wow, 2.6. TJ, overall.
You know what? Maybe I'm not as mean as you guys, but I gave it a 3.1.
Wow, that is a way above average show. Excellent job, TJ. Okay. For me, Mr. Rick Serrano III was not too pleased with this episode of NXT. I gave it a 1.5. Oh my God. I'll tell you why. Rhea Ripley's promo was bad to me. Lorraine defeating Ember Moon was bad for me. Undisputed Era's promo. I know TJ gave it a 4. I gave it a 1. I was just not feeling it. Everything about it. The one thing I will tell you that I'm very excited for is Xia Li and Boa. What are they doing?
I'm curious about that.
Who is this woman? It's time. What is it time for? What do you like? Come on, you can't. No, what? How long are we gonna have to wait? 250 episodes? How long are we gonna have to wait before you tell us who this woman is? I don't know, but I'm intrigued.
Can I just say, what did you guys think of? And I can never remember their name because they all have very big Spanish names. But I really enjoyed that little promo with
Legado de
the
Fantasma.
Luchador. Yeah, I thought that it was very different, had a very different feel than everything else. But I actually enjoyed it. I thought it presented them. They look like kind of badasses.
For sure.
I think they needed that. And I liked that one a lot. But there was like stuff like the Grizzled Vets thing was stupid.
Oh, yeah.
I hate it when the team comes out and like, or not a team, but anyone comes out, they get jumped and nobody mentions anything. Oh, who are they even supposed to fight? They never even mentioned that once. They were just thrown out there to get their asses kicked.
Yeah.
But I wanted to point out one really funny thing, and I want to ask you about this, Rick, because I just started watching NXT super closely in the last couple months. Everrise, are they really terrible?
Yes.
Because like
not good.
Beth Phoenix was on the mic going, "Oh, this is an improvement at least." As they're getting beat down like dogs.
They're bad. They're bad.
Okay, all right. I was just curious about that. Other than that, though, yeah, that's. I want to say this. Maybe because I'm not sick of them or not, but I like Candice LeRae a lot. I really enjoyed the opening match, but I thought the ending with Toni Storm changing was stupid.
Yes.
It just made no sense, that part.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. And I just don't agree with Ember Moon losing again. Like, despite whatever it is, it's just like she just got back. Like, you ruined her career with this 24/7 title nonsense, tore her Achilles. Everybody thought her career was done, and you got her coming back, and you got her losing. Come on.
That's
all
WWE.
Right. Yeah, let's move on to some AEW Dynamite. All right. For me, the lowest point of AEW this week, which was a solid show, I would say. My lowest point though was Powerhouse Hobbs defeating Lee Johnson.
No.
And of course, you have Taz, part of this whole thing, choking out Cody with the Taz mission. Hell to the no. I do not want to see Taz. Now, I know, listen, I don't know when Canadians are joking or not, but Andy Anderson said on your show that, well, he did catch him from behind and he did try to cut off the promo. No, Taz should not be getting Cody, right? Cody is this prestigious guy, right? He's the top guy. He's the top dog. He bills himself as the top dog, but you build yourself to get choked out by a 5-foot tall pile of crap. And whatever happened to Shaq? So we're just going, you got choked out by Taz, who's 5 foot. What are you going to do with Shaq? 7-footer. Come on, man. So I gave that was a 1 for me. And I agree with you guys. Powerhouse Hobbs, terrible name. Also, the facial expressions, I'm not with it. He is ugly. He is an ugly dude, and the facial expressions he does is ugly. It just does not do it for me. Elio, what was your low points of AEW?
My low point, that Darby Allin video.
Oof. Yep. Yes, that was kind of.
That was crapalicious.
Yeah. TJ?
You know what? I'm looking at my thing, and I've been trying to be not so critical, as you noticed. I've been trying my best. But I have like 3 or 4.5s here.
Wow.
Okay? Darby Allin. Taz. Oh, my God. That crap was terrible. Vicky's promo. You guys can't forget that crap. And then the worst thing ever. Probably the most pathetic backstage fight I've ever seen her on The Best Friends was the shittiest, fakest looking backstage fight you've ever seen. And you know, it's a good. You knew you were in for a great treat when Orange Cassidy turned off the monitor and Myra went, "My wife bought me that."
That was hilarious.
Wow.
But also when he yelled, "Get out of my way."
Get out of my way was kind of funny, but the rest they were so poorly done. This would like us. If the WPOV did a backstage fight vignette, it would probably look better than that.
That's true. I could definitely make it look better.
You know,
sure.
and it sums it all up with Kip Sabian smashed on the side of the toilet.
Yes,
that's got to show you how crappy this was. So yeah,
garbage. For me, the highest point of what was Butcher and Blade defeating Pac and Phoenix. I gave that a 3.5. I thought it was a solid match. I thought it was a good of Eddie Kingston be involved. I do have to mention, I think you guys were right about this whole Eddie Kingston thing being there for Moxley. Like when they did that little promo backstage, he's like, I didn't do that. If I was to do it, I'd do it in your face, blah, blah, blah. Like, I love that upfrontness about him, and I think that's where Eddie Kingston's headed. Eddie Kingston's going to be there for Moxley when Moxley needs him, or if they attack Moxley, Moxley will be there for him. I like this back and forth. Yeah, we had our shit. We fucking fought. We beat each other's down. But at the end of the day, we're best friends and we're gonna be there for each other. So I definitely appreciated that. But the only thing that perplexed me was, why is Lance Archer out there? I get it. I know why he did it, because of the little battle royal, and Eddie Kingston replaced him. But to come out during this, no, that story was done. Like, we have the whole Triangle Shirt Factory thing going on, and we got Eddie Kingston and the Butcher and the Blade. Why are we having the Murder Hawk coming out?
Because it was get him back. This is the only way to get him back into the main event. Look, or to any kind of event. I mean, he's been withering on the vine.
No,
at least
true.
It had a story that makes sense, and he goes after a big guy in the main event. So hopefully that gives a lasting impression. And let's face it, maybe the Murder Hawk goes more of a good guy, because he ain't going nowhere right now. Him and Jake are floundering bad.
That's true. Elio, what was your high point of AEW this week?
Like the contract signing and that Kenny Omega interview backstage.
Yes, that was really good.
Both
really
very
enjoyed
good.
that. TJ, what was your high point?
Well, it seemed like I was really down on a lot of promos here, but I got to give props to like the two that Elio just said. Plus, and this will tell you, I don't really like FTR, but they gave a hell of a great promo this week, including Tully. In ring though, there was some good stuff. Pac and Phoenix against Butcher and Blade, I gave a 4. SCU versus Jericho and Hager, a 4. And what was the other one? I had another 4 there. No. And I thought the opening was very solid at a 3.5.
Nice. I do have to mention.
Shida and Anna Jay, also very solid. I gave a 4.
Wow. I did not like that match at all.
But it's because you got to remember that Anna Jay's just up and coming. It was all character exposition. And okay, WWE, they are the best at making all those little promo, like, what do you call them? The little films they do when leading up to a match, showing you everything that happened. They're the king of that. We don't even talk about them. We're so used to them, right? Yeah. AEW does a piss poor job at doing that. But this week's the Anna Jay Shida one gave Shida personality for the first time ever. Yeah. I think people are like, whoa, she's a person? She can talk? Wow. So I gave that some high marks.
Got you. Well, my favorite part of the match was the ending with Abaddon coming out. Finally, Abaddon has returned. Title picture, though? Kind of soon. I don't know.
Think? She had one match?
Overall, though, I gave AEW this week a 2.2. Elio, what do you got?
I got a 2.06.
Okay.
It's a
TJ?
good show. A really solid show.
3.06.
All right. So now it's time for AEW versus NXT. Currently, NXT is ahead 4 to AEW's 3. Here we go, guys. This is the big thing right here. I really enjoyed AEW. I did not enjoy NXT. Now, if AEW wins this week, they'll be tied going into winter is coming, and AEW can take the lead for the first time ever. Maybe, unless they drop the ball royally. But we'll see what happens today. Let's get on the 250th episode. Are we going to have a tie between NXT and AEW for the first time? Well, I'll tell you this much. I went with AEW this week. Elio, who'd you go with?
Well, I enjoyed some of NXT. I enjoyed AEW a lot more this week.
Wow. So you're going with AEW?
Yeah, a solid show.
All right. TJ?
Well, you know what? I'm looking at my scores. If I went through my scores, there was a slight edge for NXT, but overall I enjoyed AEW, the show, better. So I'm going to go with AEW.
So AEW has reached the promised land.
That's crazy.
It is tied for first place for the first time in over a year. It is now 4-4. Wow. All right. Let's go into SmackDown this week. The SmackDown breakdown. Elio, what was your lowest point of SmackDown this week?
Okay, lowest point for SmackDown was, let me just pull up the notes here. I got the Bianca Belair and Natalya.
Really? What was your score for that one?
I gave it a 1.5.
A 1.5.
Wow. I give it 2.5.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, I was similar with that. I went with a 2.5 as well. I really enjoyed it. I thought for the first time in a long time, Elio, it was a 1.5. Stick to your guns, man.
I have another one too.
Okay, what was it? Oh,
The
okay. What was it?
Street Profits. No,
Woo! Yeah, Street Profits versus Rude and Ziggler. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do have to say this about Natalya and Bianca Belair. Natalia's been giving out shitty matches for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because she's been having shitty opponents for a long time now.
Yeah.
And now when she has a worthy opponent, she was actually looking good. She was doing flips and rolls ups, and I was like, wow, okay, that was pretty good. TJ, what was your low point for SmackDown this week?
Oh, this Mysterio family garbage.
The
interview, terrible. The match was, what the fuck was, okay, sorry, I'm losing my steam here, but what was the point of the Mysterio family jumping up constantly? That is not what good guys do.
No.
Are they going heel now? Is that the deal? Because it was garbage.
I can't stand Baron Corbin, but for once I have to agree with him. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
everywhere you turn, you have the member of the Mysterio family.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. That was also my lowest point. I gave it a 0.5. It was just atrocious. It made no sense. It was ass a 9, ass a 10, ass a 11.
Now we're getting a rematch next week.
Yes, but this time Baron Corbin says he's gonna have backup, and he needs it because this was ridiculous. It was churlish, and it belongs in the turlet for sure.
Okay.
TJ, Elio, what was your highest point of SmackDown?
Highest point, I gave it to the opening segment, Roman Reigns.
Okay, talking about he wasn't a bitch looking for Thanksgiving leftovers.
And that includes the Otis would that include the Otis beatdown with it? Because that was tremendous.
Yes, that's what they needed was the Otis beatdown. Yes, TJ, your highest point of SmackDown this week?
It was the opening and the Uso versus Owens.
Yes, I agree with you. I gave that a 3. Kevin Owens defeating Jey Uso by disqualification. I will tell you this. I am highly entertained by Sami Zayn winning by countout multiple times. I really think that's something. Yeah. You know, King Kong Bundy had the 5 count, right?
Yeah.
He said he didn't want to win his matches by 3 count. He wanted to win by pin by 5 count. This whole 10 count thing, it can go somewhere. Different ways to win. He beat Apollo in a unique way. He beat Daniel Bryan because of Jey Uso, obviously. But I really, really think Sami Zayn got something with this. Unfortunately, they're already pairing Big E with him, so it looks like Big E might be getting that title off of him sooner rather than later. But I wouldn't mind Sami Zayn winning another couple of countouts before TLC.
What did you think of the Big E thing with
that was funny.
I thought it was funny because usually I don't like Big E. He's usually so over the top, but this one, his smarminess mixed great with his bullying of Sammy worked really well.
Yes, for sure. I agree with you guys. Elio, what was your overall rating of SmackDown this week?
Well, I gave SmackDown 1.6.
1.6. All right, TJ, what was your overall rating of SmackDown?
My overall rating was a 2.54.
All right, and my overall for SmackDown was a 2. All right, so we're all around.
I got a question.
Yes.
When they cut to Carmella, didn't she look like if Charlotte Flair looked more feminine?
Yes. Yes.
At first, I was like, "Oh, Charlotte Flair got a face." Oh, no, that isn't Charlotte Flair. But sorry, it was so jarring that what had happened. I was like, "Is that Charlotte?" Oh, no. Okay. No.
All right, it is now time for Raw vs. SmackDown vs. NXT. Currently, NXT is ahead 16 to Raw's 11 to SmackDown's 5. All right, we're going to go with Elio, TJ, and then myself on which show that they're going to go with. So, Elio, which show?
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, we did, man.
We did Raw.
Wow. Okay,
too much watching of wrestling for TJ.
Yeah, my brain. Sorry, guys.
I got NXT, Raw, and SmackDown.
All right, NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. TJ, what do you got?
You know what? As much as I loved, and I said AEW this week because over those ones, Ben, SmackDown was like for me by far solid from bookend to end. The most solid show I enjoyed the most. NXT next, and then Raw was horrible.
All right,
that was some crap.
So you went with SmackDown,
SmackDown, NXT, Raw.
All right, for me, if I look at my scores, I go Raw 2.2. I got SmackDown at a 2. I got NXT at a 1.5. I am not going to pick NXT to win this week. I'm sorry. I just did not enjoy this show. I did, however, enjoy SmackDown over Raw, even though I gave Raw a higher score. I'm gonna go with SmackDown this week, and plus SmackDown needs it, guys. You know, SmackDown only has 5. We need to make it a SmackDown breakdown and come on back down. You know what I'm talking about? So we're gonna give SmackDown the win this week. SmackDown now has 6 to NXT 16 and Raw's 11.
Ooh.
Don't call it a comeback. All right, it is now time for WWE versus AEW this week. Guys, I got an interesting matchup for you guys. All right, you ready for this one?
Okay.
We got Otis versus Luchasaurus.
Oh,
What?
scraping the bottom of the barrel were we for picks?
Yes.
Tommy.
Oh.
I really, really wanted you guys to really have to dig deep and try to
really
figure
are.
this one out.
Wow.
Yeah. This is not going to be easy. I'll go first. And for me, it looks like this. All right. You got Otis, who is a character in itself. You got Luchasaurus, who's a character in itself. So I feel like on the character scale, as annoying as Otis is, Luchasaurus is a little more annoying than he is. So I'm going to give the character stretch to Otis, right? When it comes to in-ring ability, 2 anomalies. And that's the second time I used that word in this show. 2 anomalies here. You got Otis, who moves around like he shouldn't be moving around, doing the caterpillar, doing all these running jumps and everything and these splashes. He's too big to be doing that. He's like a big little meatball. And then you got a big little one, right? And then you got Luchasaurus, who is doing cruiserweight lucha style moves for a man his height. You got to give the edge in ring ability to Luchasaurus. But when it comes down to head, who do I think is better? Guys, I'm going with Luchasaurus.
Okay.
Elio, who you got?
I'm gonna have to go with the Luchasaurus just based on the wrestling. Like Otis has his like character in this moveset, and he's got that caterpillar or whatever finisher. But Luchasaurus does all these flips and the moonsault and the lucha style. So I'm gonna have to give it to Luchasaurus.
All right. Wow. TJ, who you got?
Well, you know what, folks? The best way I'm going to put this is jump into the Wayback Machine to 1985 AWA wrestling, and basically, or not, I guess more like 1986. But let's basically say what we have here is we have Jake the Milkman Millman versus the beginning of his career, Scott Hall. Okay, that's what these 2 guys represent to me. Okay, who's the better one? Who's going to win? Tune into Global this week and find out my answer, and Andy Anderson's also.
Yes.
Wow.
All right. Nice little slide, like a fox over there. All right. So make sure you guys tune in. You guys make sure you cast your vote. Otis or Luchasaurus? Wowzers. All right. We got no book this week. Let's go into our closing, guys. It's time to close things down. And it is time. And before we close out, what we're going to do is Elio and TJ are going to play a game called the 5-Second Shuffle, where I play a song from my dozens upon dozens of songs. And it's just a way we ride off into the sunset. That being said, I am your host, the third wheel, Rick Serrano the third, along with the gentleman,
Elio Cannella.
And the legend,
T. James Logan.
All right. Love, peace, and wrestling. Peace out. You guys ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go.
Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler.
Ooh, I got to give that to Elio.
I was going to say Bastion Booger first.
All right. Good job. All right, so we got 1-0 Elio. Here goes number 2.
Miz.
Ooh, the Miz.
Bertha Faye.
All right, here's our last one. Okay, here we go.
Here comes the money.
Shane McMahon.
Wow, Shane McMahon, Elio Cannella with the sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week.
Here comes the money.
We don't own the rights. 250th episode. Too Fiddy.